When it comes to travel plans, you don't trust your itinerary with amateurs. No way. Whether it's business or pleasure, you're under the wings of an airline who understands how it's done. It's a name you know you can trust. Pig Shit Airlines has been flying high on the charts in customer acceptance for a long, long time. In fact, Pig Shit was just awarded the 2025 Golden Major Award as the most airline company in the entire airline industry. So, the next time there's an exotic place you yearn to explore, or a meeting that you just can't miss, or you have someone special you need to hold in your arms, come fly the friendly skies. You really don't have a choice. Pig Shit Airlines. Just book your fucking ticket.
Before history was history, fools were we. Then we climbed a tree and finally we could see. Oh, then the internet made us smart, now know everything do we. Thus we share with thee these trifleries till nobody learns nothing.
Hello and welcome to Bottom of the Barrel, podcast featuring myself, Jay Hickman, John Swayze, and Kyle Jones, three old chums from the world of anime, here to talk some nonsense.
This week is going to be a timely episode. They won't all necessarily be timely, but this one is. We're going to release this on April 1st. You may know that date as April Fool's Day.
The day when you play practical jokes on one another, all in good fun.
Or
no one can get mad.
I guess I'd always understood it to be not as much necessarily practical joke as fooling someone into thinking something that was untrue and to make them behave in a foolish way.
Right. There's
like it'd be like
right. It's not like lighting somebody's pants on fire. Like ha ha.
Right. Or the old matchstick in the toes thing.
I'm being real here.
I was thinking the matchstick in the toes. Thank you. I don't know why I was thinking light your pants on
you
fire.
had to lie.
Yeah.
That's
so different than the prank of shooting someone in the head with a rifle.
Gotcha.
Right?
correct.
But yeah, just like telling someone that like, no, you don't have to go into work at 8 o'clock today. Normally you go at 8 o'clock. Today you can go in at 10 o'clock. So you relax, enjoy a late breakfast, and then we'll see you in the office at 10.
Well,
and when you walk in, everyone goes, April Fools.
So,
yeah, everyone except the boss who is like, where have you been for 2 hours?
The boss is usually not as jovial about it, unless, of course, he's pulling in himself.
Right.
I know that teachers have got to hate the day.
Oh, absolutely.
So, April Fool's Day is pretty global, for one. It's been around a long time, and a whole bunch of countries celebrate. I don't know if you call it celebration or just at least do stuff.
Observe.
Foolication?
And of course, when so many different countries and so many different cultures do it, the origin is very disputed and murky as to where it started. But so what we have are a bunch of breadcrumbs through time of where things are, they're doing basically the same thing, and eventually the name does come up. Now, so who had to read Canterbury Tales?
Oh, I did.
Me did.
I mean, had to or elected to?
Got to.
Do you know any old English pronunciation? Yonga Sota is the only thing I remember.
One and ale noon turned a gear on the bay.
Yeah.
No.
John's practically fluent in Old
I think
English.
that was his order at Taco Bell. So
That's only because I use the app.
So this is 1392 is Canterbury Tales, Geoffrey Chaucer. And the tale in particular is the Nun Geoffrey Chaucer. Pardon me. It's that pronunciation thing, it's all the dialect.
Mm-hmm.
And someone needs to brush up on their old
Seven
English.
Nuns, Priest's Tale. gets a lot of raised eyebrows about this because the vain cock is tricked by a fox. And there's a line in there that says, since March began, full 30 days and 2. And so it reaches a date which also has its own wonderful argument that may
March 32nd.
Well, right.
March 32nd.
But in
30 days and 2, it's March 32nd.
Mm-hmm. So
Got it.
April Fool's Day.
Did you run across the Pope Gregory theory?
No. Well, please lay it on me. I have many.
Pope Gregory.
When was
he was like, we're in a long time ago. When he was changing the calendar.
Oh yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there, John.
1392.
And please.
Okay. So then you do know. Okay.
we're in
Okay. All right. Okay. See, I'm a
1392
spoiler.
right now.
So is that the answer? Chaucer decided it would be April
That's,
1st because of that's what or the fox, Chaucer's fox decided it would be April
Or his
1st, and everyone's like, sounds.
what's a vein cock?
Yeah, spell that.
Just don't put them in the
please.
other direction. Other order. Excuse me. That'd be cock vein, Jay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Cock vein J.
I thought it was the fox tricked a veiny.
Yeah,
cock.
sort of. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Like a roided out rooster, right?
Super veiny.
Yes. Super veiny.
Engorged. So in 1508, we get at least a reference to it being a day and a date in France. You get a French poet. I'm terrible at French stuff. Eloy Janerval.
Oh my god.
Jay, if you want to do any of this. But he's Poisson d'Avril. Is that good? And it references the day as it actually says April Fools, but literally it's April's fish.
April. Yes, I've heard of the April's fish.
And
yes.
my favorite part of this,
Poisson d'avril.
say that again, Jay.
Poisson d'avril.
That's great.
For those of you who are just listening and don't have the added value and luxury of video, which you can get on our website eventually for Patreon something or another. Anyway,
Oh my God.
for those of you, Jay is wearing a shirt that says Quebec.
That's French.
Yeah, that's a French word. Yeah.
And it's got the fleur de lis on it. Jay's feeling very French. Jay, you look very French.
Thank you. Yeah, feeling good, Mortimer.
Well, so here in 1508, French poet with say it again, Jay.
The French poet.
Poisson. Yeah, his name was Eloy de Avernal or something.
You bet.
Yeah.
You bet it is.
So but the
Lordy
the
Lord.
name of his the book itself was called The Book of Deviltry. Yeah.
Okay, but he's talking about an April fish.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they don't. People have called dummies or rookies fish for a long time.
Yeah.
That's true. In some colleges you have fish camp.
Yep.
Which is like
for freshmen. Yeah.
for freshmen, yeah. So they're dummies.
Here, if you go to prison, they might
Never
even
let them
call
into
you
our school.
Fish. Fishy.
Now they call you a vein cock in prison.
So
Hey, look, it's old Bobby Vanecock.
okay. So we're getting into the territory of what you were talking about, John. That in the Middle Ages, the New Year was in March. It was like a week celebration of the New Year. Started in March 25th and it ended with a big blowout on April 1st. And so eventually the calendar gets changed to where January 1st becomes the first day. And those who were still celebrating going ape shit in April 1st were April
1st. We're fools.
That's it? Nothing? Just going to sit there in dead silence?
I don't know. I'm just waiting to be wowed. I don't know. So one thing I'll pipe in. So I am, as John described earlier, this week's buffoon, and proudly so. I have not researched anything about April Fool's Day, so I'm a sponge. I'm excited to learn all about it. I do know one thing that from my childhood about April Fool's Day, and I'll talk slowly so you guys can gauge whether or not I should reveal everything, because someone may have done a deep dive into this. But from my father taught me about April Fool's Day that the day is sort of split into parts. It's not
Morning, afternoon, evening?
Sort of, yeah. So that the day is observed kind of in segments of sorts. And he explained how that worked to me. And there's a little rhyme that goes along to explain that.
Do you know the rhyme?
Kind of bring it on.
I do. But I see Kyle going, like he knows all about this. And like, I don't want to step on toes.
If you can recite us a rhyme, I would love it.
Yeah.
Is it a limerick or just a...
No, it's a quick couplet.
You don't have to put him in a box, Swayze.
Okay. Well, I just didn't know if the man was from Nantucket.
I'm already a buffoon. Like, do you need to...
iambic pentameter, the whole thing.
The rhyme goes thusly. April Fool's has come and passed. You're the biggest fool at last. And what it references is the fact that April Fool's is only supposed to be observed in the morning. You don't do it afternoon. If you try to do a joke afternoon, the joke's on you. Because April Fool's Day is already over at noon, apparently, for reasons. So my father explained this to me, but never gave me an origin. Like, why then? Like, I know full well that it's April 1 all day until midnight on April 1st, at which point it becomes April 2nd. But the observation of the Fool's Day is only supposed to happen in the first 12 hours of April 1. He never explained why that is.
Well, I know it simply as...
Well, I can tell you right now, showing up to work at 10 o'clock in the morning is not going to have the same ramification at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's just the severity of your joke, I think. How bad do you want to screw this person over? Oh, no, you got the day off. You're good. No need to go in. No, that was, believe that part about noon was Nordic. I stumbled across the same thing where, it's all fun and games, but second afternoon and you're just a big asshole and you can get your face pounded in for trying to pull a prank on someone afternoon on April 1st.
Do we know why?
Oh, why? I don't know, because maybe Nords are have schedule oriented.
What is the daylight nighttime kind of ratio in the very northern hemisphere around this time of year?
This is not a podcast about global weather patterns, Jay.
I'm just saying, like, is it the time of year when it gets dark real early, the further north you go?
Probably.
Like maybe the sun sets.
Isn't that always?
The sun sets in Svalbard at around 1 in the afternoon, and so the day's over.
Okay, I see what you're saying, Jay.
I'm taking a wild stab here. Yeah, so we don't know.
A lot of times you can see which way your weather vane cock is facing to tell you.
Yeah.
All right, so
They call me the saver.
That's oh dear God. In 1561, guys, a Flemish poet. Now, I had to look up where do you live if you're Flemish.
Oh, brother.
Jay, do you know? Do I?
Yeah, you live in Flanders.
Flanders, northern Belgium. Nice.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, Belgium.
I'm wearing a
John, you didn't know that.
Quebec t-shirt.
I was going to say Denmark. All right, I was going to say you're Flemish if you're in Denmark, but that's Danish, which are quite tasty.
And this
much
time
more tasty than phlegm.
Here.
Not all the episodes are going to be like this, everybody. Some of them are,
no. This is a big April Fool's joke, is what it is.
Yeah.
So,
some things are
Flemish poet Edward de Dean, D-E-N-E.
Dene.
Is how we spell it. Anybody got a guess?
I'd need to see where that accent is, but
Okay. There isn't one here in my notes. Anyway, refers to April Fool's Day by name. And this time, a nobleman, just for funsies, was sending out his servant to go do bullshit. Just meaningless errands, just because,
like a snipe hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Snipe hunt, but for someone who is his servant.
Okay. What was the name of the nobleman?
J. Let's slow down.
Sorry, I'm quite what a buffoon I am for asking such a question.
Sirloin of beef.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
I mean, because what a dick move. I'd
Totally.
like
A veiny dick.
I'd like to know his name so we can like reference him more. Like, you don't have to be so marquee. Do all that and all about it. Like,
do the Flems have marquise?
it sounds like they would. That sounds like
Okay.
sort of a nobleman they might have.
I think
up in
marquees
Flanders.
are pretty universal in the European theater of nobility.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, marquis is, in fact, I think marquis is just below king. if I'm
Here
not
it just
mistaken.
tells you how much the chicken tenders cost.
Or what's playing at the Saturday night
Drive-in, yeah.
drive-in.
So
yeah.
one of my
So Kyle, please
one of the-
continue.
I'm sorry. There's a famous one. I'm assuming you guys have heard of Constantine allows his jester to be king for the day.
Right? Yeah.
And that is, a lot of people say, oh, well, that's kind of your fool's day.
He did that on April the 1st.
Well, they did. Some people
We don't
coincide
know.
it with the Roman Well, so it's disputed. Everything here is disputed, by the way.
Yeah. So we really don't know. I do
So,
know that I think Constantinople had the jester's balls chopped off after that day because he made fun of the king. Something
What a
we don't
joke.
recognize.
Chopped your
We don't
balls off.
observe that anymore on April Fools.
What a rookie mistake. Like, if I was a jester and made king for a day, like, I would order the former king to be beheaded immediately and then,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
stay in power. Like,
Duh.
hello.
So, some people try to attribute
Coup
that
101 is what that is.
Yeah. This
to
is
the
classic.
Roman. There is a Roman celebration of Hilaria, but that was March 25th. They called
Okay.
it the 8th of the calends of April, which apparently means March 25th.
Listen, this may be just buffoonery, but I feel like I've found a satisfactory answer to how this all started.
Oh, wait.
Like, are there
Jay.
are there about 6 or 7 more theories?
Yeah.
There are. No, not that many more theories.
Because
But
the thing
one
where,
of my
where the
favorite-
calendar changed from April 1st is New Year's to January 1st is New Year's, and the people that still celebrated April 1st as New Year's were dumb. Like, that's a
Right.
pretty good.
That's
I'm
hilarious.
I'm happy with that one.
Right, I love that. That one is almost as far as the stuff I found looking over this. That was one of my favorite things. And then this right here, Constantine's
There is
king
one more.
for a day. Right, was actually a Boston University professor during an AP interview stated that king for a day from Constantine as an April Fool's Day joke. So that never happened. It was a historian's joke during an interview as to the origin of April Fool's Day, and he made an April Fool's Day joke out of the
I
question
see.
itself. Pretty fantastic.
What was that
So-
professor's name?
April
Professor
de Foulet. He was Flemish.
Okay, I've got a name for you. Y'all ready?
Great.
John Aubrey wrote a
That's
book.
nice.
John Aubrey.
And it was called Fool's Holy Day, 1686. This is pretty much considered the first the kind of the one where it's written down. Here's the date. here's people being idiots on this day, or getting fooled on this day. And that's 1686, and that's British is where that comes from. And what I've learned is, boy, the Brits love this holiday, bro. Oh my gosh. They do lots of fun stuff. It gets in the news and everything.
Yes.
In fact, the first kind of big public version of a April Fool's Day joke is in Britain, of course. And so we're all familiar with the Tower of London. It was also known to have the menagerie of exotic animals at the time. Which king was that?
How about Henry? How about a Henry or
1698.
Charles?
Yeah, that's not a Henry VIII year, I don't think.
No, absolutely not. Well, Henry VIII would have been in the 1312, something like that, 1314.
Oh, Henry VIII.
I am.
Please continue.
I got
there's
married to the widow next door. She's been
there's
married 7. I'm sorry.
There's a menagerie in the Tower of London, apparently, back in the late 1600s. Everyone knew about it. There's a menagerie.
No,
Tower of London.
It was like a zoo. They would collect the exotic animals, and people would come see them in
the tower.
On the grounds of the tower. You could.
Oh, okay.
Well, the tower is a castle. It's not just a tower. I mean, it's like a full-on walled castle with many buildings and areas and places to chop your head off. And
it was mostly it was mostly the prison chop your head off type of a place. It wasn't
but it wasn't just a tower.
They didn't welcome tourists at the time. It was kind of serious business taking place at the tower.
Or animals. Well, maybe they had the menagerie there in order to practice chopping the heads off. Like,
okay.
Bring in the penguin. Let's try this one. Bring in the zebra. Bring in the whatever animal that is.
Yeah, as long as we can behead it, that's what counts.
Just
got to chop their head off.
I mean, owls had it made in the shade because there's no neck.
No, it's hard to find their neck.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let that one go.
So, anywho, many moons later, it became a bit of a tradition at this point, actually, but it first happened with tickets. Tickets were passed out. This didn't happen until 1856. Okay. And tickets were passed out to, by gum, if you go to England, you have to see the bathing of the lions. Go see the lions be washed. So they handed out tickets, and people would go to the Tower of London to watch the lions get bathed. And there hadn't been lions there for 20 years. And the nice little extra treat on it was admission in this ticket was only at the White Gate. And there was no White Gate.
Right.
No damn White Gate. They were just screwing with people. And so, and apparently it still trickles around today, but it was a good 100-year prank where you told the dumb tourist to go, you gotta go see the lion bathing ritual. And it's an annual thing that they just happen to be in town to see.
As you noted, Kyle, earlier, I did for a time live in Britain, and I kind of recollect that. And
good.
I'd heard tale of that, and that, if you were a tourist that went to the Tower of London to ask where to buy a ticket to see the lions bathed, you could easily get your head chopped off. That was the sprinkle on top, to make it a great joke.
A nice gag on people coming into the country.
Yeah, it's tell you what, here's what you do, tourist. Over there, there's a wall, and there's a hole in the wall about head sized. And what you want to do is stick your head through, and you'll see where the tickets are. And then you'll just you can reach through and grab your ticket. Stick your head through that hole, and then they would get their heads chopped off.
Yeah,
it was a hilarious prank.
I think that's where Glory Hole came from.
Sounds glorious. But to hearkening back, I lived in London in the 80s, and I do remember quite well that the evening news played an April Fool's joke while I was there. This was early mid 80s. And they talked about, speaking of, I thought you were headed in this direction because this was a joke that centered around the London Zoo.
Okay.
Which was, globally known as one of the great zoos on the planet. The London Zoo is really good. And so the evening news on April 1st said, new exhibit at the London Zoo today, an incredible animal found in far off Tibet. It's never been seen before. It's a remarkable animal. We have some footage of it. It's called the Lurpa loof from Tibet.
The Lurpa loof.
The Lurpa loof. And they showed this kind of hominid looking, kind of ape-like, it was standing erect. It was about 4 feet tall.
Keep it friendly, bro.
It stood about 4 feet tall. It was very furry and just bright purple. And so they showed it was in a enclosure at the zoo, and it was just like hanging out and crawling around rocks. And at some point, like the footage showed this, it was about 20 seconds of footage, and it was eating something. And at some point, it squatted on a rock. And when it got up, there was a tiny, perfectly shaped purple dog poo there. And they cut away, and they're like, well, that's all. The footage ends there.
It's
Thankfully,
like Grimace.
Anyway, Grimace. It was like a Grimace shake. That color purple. And so they were like, anyway, go to the London Zoo to see this amazing new thing. And so it was revealed pretty quickly that it was a joke. And as you probably guessed, Kyle, as an expert in linguistics, Lurpa loof spelled backwards is April Fool. But it was a great. I was a 11-year-old child. Like I was taken in hook, line, and sinker. It was incredible.
That's fantastic. Now, the one word that does come up a lot when I was looking through April Fools is the word hoax. And hoax, there is a museum of hoaxes, by the way. It's in San Diego. And they take a personal kind of curator, I guess, responsibilities of really hugging in on this April Fool's Day and other stuff that happens. So, but it's a great source, as well as the Library of Congress, if you believe it. And that's not even an April Fool's joke. I found a bunch of stuff at Library of Congress. But yeah, the British participation in this whole thing has been super fun to go through. One of them it meant as a joke. It was kind of Jewish comedian humor that the doves that Noah sent out because sent it out 3 times. Or the first 2 times it didn't find anything, and then it came back with the
olive branch.
The olive branch or the leaf, yes. And it was that the first couple were a meaningless errand, a sleeveless errand, as they said, which is weird. I don't know what that means. Have you ever heard that? It's a sleeveless errand?
Sleeveless or seedless?
Sleeveless.
Seedless. No, I've never heard that phrase.
Yeah, it makes more sense, seedless, given that it's a bird and twig.
A branchless would make more sense.
I bet that that marquis that sent his servant out without a full long sleeve shirt on, just sent him out in a vest to run a bunch of dumb errands.
Yeah, he might be dead. The poor guy.
Probably dead. Yeah, I mean that's how you know. I think probably that was clearly a prank. Like the idea that the dove would come back with an olive branch the 3rd time. Like, why would a dove be like, "Hey, I found land. I know what to do. I'm going to fly back to the boat, Like there's a ton of resources here. I could just stay here and like eat seeds and stuff.
Yeah.
But instead, I'm going to pick up an olive branch and fly back to the boat because I love just picking up branches in my beak and flying a long distance. I've got nothing else to do.
I'm just wondering why was the olive tree the highest tree? I mean, there was no other trees. I don't think of the olive. Question. I mean, you would think if there's an olive tree sticking out of the water, there's going to be a pine tree above that.
Yeah, I've seen an olive tree. They're not that tall.
They're not.
Do they grow on hills at least?
Yes.
Of hills?
Yeah, they can, but I mean,
but there's like a tree line on mountains.
I mean, Mount Ararat, where Noah's Ark was, that's a mountain.
Trees.
That's not a hill.
But you were talking about the highest spot. Now, I'm just saying.
Anyway, that's why I believe that story was a prank. Like, come on.
So let me do a quick shoot down some of the places that do participate in this. You and some of the little fun.
You mean to shoot them down? You mean to debunk them? Like
I think you mean to run down. I think you mean to run down.
I'm going to go real quick. Real quick is all I mean. In USA, we say what? April Fools if you do something. In Armenia, they just yell April 1. In Germany, April. And now Germany really makes me think about, because you'll have to correct my pronunciation, the Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, that's very, very relatable when it comes to April Fools, because you are finding joy in making an ass of someone else. Or at least, or even if you're not the one making the person the ass, you if it didn't happen to you, you're like, hee, oh, what a dumbass way.
Happy to point and laugh, yeah.
You know what they say? You know what they say in Iran for April Fool's Day? April Fool's Day.
I do have a word. I have a word here. 13 Farvarden. It's 13 days after the Persian New Year, and they say that, however you pronounce it. I'm not even going to try. Been doing that since 536 BC.
Persian New Year's on March 18th, then, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm doing my math right.
So,
19th.
In Italy, France, and Belgium, they do more of or at least traditionally, you try to attach a paper fish to someone's back without them noticing, kind of like the kick me sign.
Or
it's like April Fish Day.
April Fish Day. Good job, Jay. Way to tie it back in. Perhaps my favorite
scratch and sniff at all, or?
Since you brought up Limerick earlier,
that was me. It's my contribution.
Ireland has perhaps the most. Well, I'll let you be the judge. So, how the story goes is the nobleman gives his servant a letter that has to be delivered to O'Malley. And so the servant grabs the letter, goes to O'Malley. O'Malley opens the letter and goes, "Oh my gosh, this needs to get to O'Neill." And so the servant grabs the letter, runs off to O'Neill. "Oh my God, this has to get to St. Patrick." He runs off with the letter, and all the letter says is, "Send the fool further."
Oh,
so but it stops with St. Patrick, who is a saint and is like, I'm not gonna torture this.
Oh no! The saints are the cruelest ones of them all.
Really?
But come on, that's pretty funny. I thought that was hilarious.
Alrighty, time for a break. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Sponsor? We have a sponsor? This ought to be good.
This Friday, it's fight night at the Pretzel. Pablo the Python Rodriguez looks to maintain his spot on top and get his gripping coils around the wild, twisting style of longtime rival Otto the Octopus Etzel. It's a grudge match bursting at the seams with a long, hard history of tension. Tension that has only grown more explosive. Otto the Octopus is coming with a grudge under his belt, tentacles writhing in fury, and Pablo the Python sits coiled in wait, jaws wide open, ready to take it to the end. Don't miss Friday Night Fight Night at the Pretzel. That's the Pretzel, 5150
and the Peanut Butter Factory. Zip on down to the pretzel. Come get salty.
This Friday, it's fight night at the Pretzel. Pablo the Python Rodriguez looks to maintain his spot on top and get his gripping coils around the wild, twisting style of longtime rival Otto the Octopus Etzel. It's a grudge match, bursting at the seams with a long, hard history of tension. Tension that has only grown more explosive. Otto the Octopus is coming with a grudge under his belt, tentacles writhing in fury, and Pablo the Python sits coiled in wait, jaw wide open, ready to take it to the end. Don't miss Friday night fight night at the Pretzel. That's the Pretzel, 5150 Mangum, between Dick's Burgers and the Peanut Butter Factory. Zip on down to the Pretzel. Come, get salty.
Wow, what a great message from that product and or service. Now, back to the program.
Well, there have been lots of April Fool's pranks that have gone wrong or been.
Oh yeah.
And now this isn't
You got some
Yeah, I
examples?
do. I do actually.
You don't make a claim like that without backing it up.
No. April the 1st, 1998, Burger King announced it would offer the version of the Whopper that was carefully constructed, designed, and engineered for left-handed folks. The left-handed Whopper, they called it. That joke did not. Well, it was like the joke was on Burger King, but at the same time, it really worked out because apparently people are stupid, and a bunch of left-handed people came in for their Whopper. So it sounded like it worked.
I bet I can figure out why it went awry. Because left-handed people came in and they're like, yeah, this does fit well in my left hand. The only problem is it tastes like a Whopper. I'm leaving.
Right. And we all know Whoppers are for right-handed people.
Well, I'm glad you brought up Burger King because they are also fans of the
April Fool's
holiday. They had a Whopper toothpaste at one point.
They're fans of pulling stuff over on their people, on their customers. I mean, just their king looks freaky weird.
Yeah, it's good branding. That's just good branding. Like you like to build trust with your consumer base.
I think that's actually the king that was the jester that took the king's place for a day, and he just never left. He had him beheaded.
Sounds
and that's
believable,
who
yeah.
that's where we got
Here
Burger
it is,
King.
Jay. Poland and Turkey, not the Nordic, had the pranks end at noon.
Okay.
I didn't want to make a correction there before anyone gets hurt.
Just crack research.
I know
Well
our
done.
rabid fan base will not tolerate any such
Either of them.
buffoonery.
Now, this is not an April Fool's joke, but this would have. I'm surprised that they. Well, I don't think they planned it this way, but the whole thing with Orson Welles and his UFO story that he did.
What?
War of the Worlds? Are you
War
talking
of the
about War
Worlds.
of the Worlds?
War of the Worlds. It was not.
Yeah.
It was in October, if I'm not mistaken. But it played like an April Fool's joke in that a lot of people believed it and panicked, and a lot of people bought into it.
But yeah, that would be a great example of something backfiring terribly.
Yes, thank you, Jay.
Like it was not a good outcome. Like people, there were repercussions, toxic effects, if you would. Does anyone know what the repercussions were? Like
I don't.
For that.
Other than
War of the Worlds,
Other
like
than-
people panicked. Like what was the result of the panic?
did anything burn
Oh
down?
yeah,
don't know.
I think things happened.
some-
I think people
I think
panicked.
so.
People were
I thought so, too.
violence
Like
erupted.
some-
I think
some terrible car crashes, like looting the local grocery store. Or,
yeah. But getting back to some stupid, in my opinion, really stupid April Fools. Kyle, you had mentioned earlier that the British are very into their whole April Fools thing. In 1957, the BBC announced that
I love this one. Yes.
a family in Switzerland was harvesting spaghetti from their trees, and the Brits, who were not big on spaghetti back then, but totally bought into it and started calling in asking how they could grow their own spaghetti trees.
Spaghetti trees. Yeah, it's a classic. It's in considered one of the greatest.
That was a 97, you said?
Oh, no.
57.
57. Got it.
And they had
40
footage.
years prior.
They included footage of these, people in obviously Swedish outfits, cartoonishly, and they're pulling spaghetti strands out of the trees. It's amazing.
And it was quite. I mean, when you think about how gullible and stupid people are, and I will throw myself into that mix. But when do you believe that have you ever realized, like, if you're getting an April Fool's joke pulled on you or an April Fool's gag, like, you realize at some point, okay, this is not working. I get it.
I've long had a policy on April Fool's Day just to react to everything anyone says to me. Like, is this a prank? And it's gone over great, particularly at work. Like, if working in an office building or a sort of a corporate setting, open floor plan, lots of people around, lots of cubicles, and so to be in a meeting, anytime somebody pipes up to be like, well, the client said what they want is, and I will say, like, you don't have to listen to that. This is an April Fool's joke. That is my contribution usually to April Fool's Day, is just to be like, I don't believe you, and then make them prove themselves.
Well,
but to your point, John, to actually answer your question, which is, I guess the idea would be, you need to make your prank kind of fast. Like, the longer it's drawn out, that more that gives you the opportunity to be like, wait a minute. Like, you would need to get the fool to act on your fake, kind of your fake information pretty quickly. Otherwise, the longer the setup is for the joke, the greater chance you have of them going, wait a second.
And you're also,
I don't know if you're going to do that after all.
You need to know your audience as well, because not everyone's going to handle it the same way. Somebody, do you remember it's a classic little video online of a guy in a little gorilla outfit jumps out of a trash can in a high school, right? And while someone's standing there, and the guy just turns and slugs him in the face and knocks him out.
I do remember that.
Not everybody's up for April Fool's shenanigans.
Yeah, you got to be careful about startling someone.
So be safe out there,
and
folks.
Wouldn't the best April Fool's joke? Wouldn't the best April Fool's joke be done like on March 31st or April the 2nd?
Wow.
April, to our point from earlier, April 2nd, like, April Fool's has gone and passed. You're the biggest fool at last. Like, that's a stigma you do not want on you. Like, to try to
You'll wear that badge the rest of your life.
Yeah. Like, whoo. You don't want that. I would be real careful.
There is a Latin America and an equivalent, but not on the same day. December 28th seems to be the most often. It's 27th, 28th, or 29th, or all three is what I found. The name is the best. The explanation of the name. Dia dos.
Vaincock Day.
Dia dos enganos. The day when donkeys go where they must not go.
This is...
The day where donkeys must not go?
The day where donkeys go where they must not go.
Oh, man. Is that a euphemism or is that real?
I don't know. You're the one with the veiny cock.
Hello.
Hey-o.
And so this is December 28th? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
December.
Not even close. I mean, you're almost 6 months out.
Yeah, but it seems to have...
And this is like in the Christmas season. That's the fourth day of Christmas. Like, in Latin America, they do celebrate Christmas quite ardently, don't they?
Right. Yeah, maybe
why are they
that was,
interrupting-
well, you know what? I bet that's the day, like the fourth day of Christmas is probably the day when you get the shittiest gift. You know, it's like you're supposed to get the 12 days of Christmas. You
What is
each
that?
get a
Calling
gift.
birds?
4 calling birds. Yeah.
5
4 calling
gold
birds.
rings, 4 calling birds. Yeah. Who wants
Yeah,
fucking calling birds? They're going to keep you up all day, keep you up all night long. I mean,
Yeah,
what a
it's
crappy
bad-
gift
it's a
that
bad
is.
Gift. It's a bad
Yeah.
gift.
I can see why they do that then. That makes total sense to me.
You can eat 3 French hens. You can eat turtle doves.
Mm-hmm.
You can eat partridges and pears.
This isn't all about eating, Jay Hickman.
I know,
You
and
can have 5 pipers or 5. You can have
I know,
how many
I know, you
pipers piping.
I don't want to feed a bunch of drummers.
Well, I'm just saying the calling birds has got to go. That's
Yeah.
just you don't need that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bad gift. A joke.
Now
gift.
I did mention Burger King, but Burger King, you know, they're not really trendsetters. They kind of follow the pack. Taco
dare
Bell
you.
actually was one of the first fast food restaurants to do a thing. They did the Taco Bell Act of Liberty, where they informed everybody that they had purchased the Liberty Bell, and
I remember that because
and they were going to call it
yeah.
the Taco Liberty Bell, which set
Yes.
everybody into a tizzy.
Yeah.
And now
You
here's
can't
a
do that.
Here's a
That's
shocker.
an American treasure.
Here's a shocker. Members of Congress had to step in to confirm that the news wasn't true. It doesn't say
That's
how many
perfect.
members. It just says members. So I'm assuming some members believed it to be true. So
Enough to yeah.
Can you name
that's-
those members?
We just need to start coming up with names.
yeah.
Yeah, just make it up, John.
I'm sorry.
But,
I'm naturally curious.
Anyway, Taco Bell did donate $50K to the National
Us.
Park Service, hoping to quell the whole thing. I mean, it was
Seems
just
like it worked. Yeah.
Back, if I go back to
Because I'm not mad at them anymore, nor did I really get mad
Care.
at the time. Yeah.
Right.
Well, they should have kept the Mexi melt intact. I mean, come on, Chilito. They tried to change the name, like people didn't like chili
Yeah.
anymore.
I'm mad at Taco Bell for other reasons. Like I've
No
plenty of other
Enchilito?
reasons to be mad at Taco Bell. They got rid of the Frito burrito. What's wrong with them?
Yeah, and what about the
bless.
just beans? You could get the refried beans. They stick a chip in there.
Free chip.
In back to the BBC and there after the Swiss spaghetti tree harvesting prank in 1957. In 1965, you've probably heard of this one, but it was BBC who did Smell-O-Vision. That new technology had been developed where they could broadcast smell. And so you had all these people trying to sniff their TV while they showed some cooking show and flowers and things.
Now I gotta
Was
ask.
Jay
'cause,
Hickman with his nose smeared up against the TV?
what was that year again?
Oh, fine. 1965.
A little before
Why are you
my
like
time.
this, Jay?
I'm a buffoon. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is there evidence that people fell for that one? Like, how would you know? Like, no one's
there
posting
were-
to
No, I'm glad you asked, Jay Hickman.
no one's posting
I know
to
the answer.
Facebook like, I'm trying to smell my screen, but I can't.
What was that
believe."
year again? So no, I'm glad you asked that because they got phone calls from people saying that it was
I
working and it was amazing. I
it.
smell the ribeye.
They don't cook ribeyes.
That's not a
No, I'm sorry.
ribeye you're smelling.
I smell the potato mayonnaise.
Thank you.
That's the
That's
ribeye.
Potato mayonnaise, the ribeye of Britain.
There was one. This is one that went horribly wrong. This is a terrible one. But we all saw the movie Vacation.
Yeah.
Chevy Chase, and he ties
I found out long
dog.
ago.
to the bumper, and then they drive away, and he forgets that the dog is tied to the bumper, and he's like, "Hey, what's
Yeah.
that noise?" And he gets pulled over, and of course, they're like, "You had your dog, and he tried to keep up." Well, inspired by that brilliant bit of theatrical prowess. A fellow by the name of Paul Gooby tied a
His
dead
name's Gooby.
His name is Gooby. Paul Gooby tied a dead chihuahua to the bumper of his coworker's car.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
His coworker, Kevin Melloy, got in the car and drove away, unaware that the chihuahua was there.
Wow.
Obviously, the motorists and whatnot were people driving by and stuff were horrified. But apparently what made the situation worse was Malloy, the guy driving the car, was deaf. So he couldn't hear other motorists honking at him to tell him
He'll
to stop.
never get to enjoy this podcast.
Hey, so I was, would a practical joke, could you pull a practical joke? Could that be a defense in like, if you broke the law? Like if you did something like, if you, April the 1st, went to go see a movie and then in the middle of the movie yelled up and said, "I've got a bomb!" Ha!
Don't yell fire.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do that, right? So
Free
Fred, there's a
speech rights.
responsibility.
is April Fool's a defense?
Legal defense?
Yeah.
for one day?
Get on that,
you
Jay.
can
Get on
just-
that.
I'm going to go ahead and say I doubt it. But yeah, great question.
Is it though?
What an insightful question.
I thought so.
So I will
I
say
did too. Only Kyle didn't think so.
that yes, there are some dangers to this holiday.
Like if
or at least
it goes terribly
confusion.
wrong, like if you're Kevin Malloy, there's some danger for you.
Right, that's
like
terrible.
if
Right.
like if everyone else on the highway is a member of PETA and they see what you've done to the Chihuahua and they shoot out your tires.
Dude, no
and,
one wants to see hamburger Chihuahua banging around behind some car. That's
Except Taco
horrifying.
Bell.
I don't care what day it is.
Oh,
Taco Bell's
Yo
right there.
quiero Taco Bell. Oh.
Y quiero Taco Bell. Yo quiero.
But some if you kind of flip the script, there are some crazy things that happened on April Fool's Day that no one believed because it was
what are the
April
greatest
Fool's
April Fool's success stories?
Hang on. I'm buffering.
I think that's.
Great answer. Good answer.
Yeah, thank you.
But there are
April
some
Fools.
pretty big historical, there's dramatic events that happened on April 1st throughout history, and that people didn't believe it at first.
Yeah, that's me. I'm the skeptic. Yeah.
Right. So in 1984, when you heard Marvin Gaye was shot and killed, you just sloughed it off, didn't you?
Did I though? Did I hear
What were
that?
you, 14, 15?
Sure. Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Oddly enough, another person was shot and killed on April 1st
Actually,
that
you know,
had
a lot of,
even
a lot
more
of people.
confusing plot point. Selena.
Oh, really?
Selena being killed by her fan club
Number one
president.
fan?
Yeah, so people weren't believing it and calling in. And one more, which sounds, it was kind of a poetic thing in a weird way. Mitch Hedberg died, the comedian, and it would be so Mitch Hedberg
Yeah, he probably
at
did
the
it on
time
purpose.
to have, not died. And
Well,
But yes,
I hate to follow up Mitch Hedberg with this one, Kyle, but that because I love Mitch Hedberg. One of the funniest guys ever, I think. Also, the infamous, notorious, and ever
B.I.G.
limber David Lee Roth, lead singer from Van Halen,
Yeah.
announced
Diamond Dave.
his exit from the band on April the 1st. Many fans
Yeah, I
thought that
wouldn't
was a
believe it.
joke, but he did leave indeed.
You're coming off of 1984, the greatest album that they've ever done.
Yeah.
And then their egos exploded and made Kyle mad.
Yeah, he couldn't wait a single day, huh? That's Diamond Dave for you.
Then everyone would believe it.
He's a very passionate man. Like when he feels the urge, he's got to act. So, Kyle, you've said something that is interesting to me. about the news stories, like real things that happened that people did not believe because they happened to happen on April 1st. These are, you named 3 American sort of entertainment celebrities.
Yeah.
And so these deaths were announced by American news media on April 1st.
Yeah,
and people called in and like, you're lying. But because you mentioned earlier, BBC loves their April Fool's jokes.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
American news media does not tend to do that. Like they do not love. They're not renowned for like being like, oh, it's April 1st. Like let's fool our American news public.
Right, because they do that every day. See, so it doesn't seem out of the ordinary. Hey, I'm sorry, but
fake news.
But it is a right. It is different. Like something so absurd can't be thrown out in the U.S. the same way it can be in Britain, I suppose.
Yeah, anything goes over there. Believe me.
But we have more fun. We have ours as brands do a ton of it. Different products and brands have done a bunch. And they're simple, harmless ones too, where no one's gonna fall into the what was our poor sod's name again, Jay?
The Marquis de Avalon?
Oh no.
I think the Marquis de Sade is who you're thinking of. He was actually quite the prankster.
Oops, it went in your butt. So in 1997, Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek switched shows. That's just fun. So
It's just good, clean fun.
yeah. Just, I'm watching Wheel of Fortune, but Alex Trebek's over here.
So were they swapping Vanna White?
Ayo, easy.
That was
easy.
not mentioned in the document I read.
In the documentary I saw, that was not.
Looks like a little deeper research would be needed.
That's
So
what
That's
Vanna
what
said.
Vanna White said. Heyo.
Heyo.
If I can take us back to Great Britain again,
Please
there
do.
was a
They have the
interview.
veiniest. They have the veiniest roosters over there.
There was Sir Patrick Moore was being interviewed.
Can you
He's
give
a
me any
scientist.
more information on that?
He was a renowned scientist at the time. Science in astrophysics or something like that. And he
Yeah, that's a branch of science, I think.
yeah, that's closer than proctology. I can at least get you in
He's
the
in
ballpark
science
here.
or something.
Anyway, he warned everyone or encouraged everyone on April 1st at 9:47 a.m. we will have reached this kind of equinox of
Please tell me
Pluto-
he used. Please tell me he used the words "kind of equinox." Please, please say that's a quote.
He did. He absolutely did.
It would be a
And he
dream
was
come
wearing
true.
a top hat when he said
Good
it.
kind of equinox.
And he warned of his Jovian Plutonian gravitational effect that would be happening at 9:47 a.m. on April 1st. And that the kind of solar system will be in this big equilibrium where if you jump, you'll kind of float for a little bit and experience a little bit of weightlessness as the gravitational pull changes. And much like the smell-o-vision, people were calling in saying that it worked, that they were experiencing this, even though it was, of course, all bullshit. That's 1998, if anyone's wondering.
So famed astrophysicist David Moore, was he? Was this on BBC as well? Famed
Capital
astrophysicist
Radio.
David Moore was
This was radio.
right, but BBC has a radio station.
Okay, it was called Capital.
started out in radio.
London.
Okay,
I actually had an answer there. I don't know what you're looking at. What else you're looking for, man? I feel pretty good.
so what were the repercussions for famed astrophysicist David Moore? when
A
it
lot of
was.
sprained ankles all over London.
I mean, like, did he get to keep his professorship at the University of Cambridge?
Of course, remember I said they love it over there. He's probably got some sort of like tap with a sword on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He got knighted.
An extra
Yeah.
What, an extra knighthood?
I dubbed the Night of April Fools. Hey, you know what he probably got to be was king for a day.
Yeah. Well done, Sir David. You get to be king for a day now.
A little fun one. NPR I'm not expecting them to have a big. We're going to get wacky and mislead. So how they did it, which was pretty clever, in their kind of closing credits, they were on April 1st sponsored by the Soylent Green Corporation.
Okay.
And John, do you know what Soylent Green is?
I do. It's people.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It's
People food.
people. Silent Green is people.
that's what
That's
I'm
Charlton
looking for.
Heston.
Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Did they get angry phone calls, Kyle?
Oh, no. Quite the opposite.
Everyone loved it. All of the NPR listenership just okay.
and then Taco Bell picked up on that very quickly and said, no, we're Soylent Green.
Yeah.
And then Burger King said, we have Soylent Green for left-handed people.
Right. Come get your Soylent Green quesadillas here at Taco Bell.
At the Taco Liberty Bell.
So one thing I wouldn't expect too much of it to come from is politics or, like you're saying, news, being responsible news. This in 2016, here close to home in Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts, Glenn Hager, announced that Texas will be issuing its own currency again, which it hadn't since 1845.
Is this an April Fool's joke,
On
or are
April
you
1st.
actually serious? Is
It's
this,
a joke, guys.
Like, is this really what our governor's doing now?
Yeah. No, that happened. It's not April 1st every day. But no, on April 1st, this guy released a statement. That's pretty funny. In 2016 also, just to let you know, it crosses all, borders and ratings. Pornhub switched its logo and everything to Cornhub, and they had nothing but like corn cobs in like lewd positions and things for a little while.
And you know who their spokesperson was?
Go ahead.
It was Ray Bolger. And there was corn over there. And corn over there.
No one
Sorry,
knows who
my
that is.
scarecrow
John
from-
Swayze.
We're circling back to the Wizard of Oz.
That's quite a
I'm a
circle
Tin Man
back.
guy.
Yeah, I knew I could bring us in.
I'm more of a Toto fellow myself.
Now, Toto
but
got
didn't-
dragged behind the dog or the car, so there is no more Toto.
They didn't have cars back then.
Do you realize what the penalty is? Animal cruelty in this state?
Well, I'm in a different state, so
Did you
I
look that up?
I don't care.
I was just
Well-
I was quoting your movie, you bastard.
So anyway, Kyle, let's get back to Cornhub.
And that's all I know. There were corn. I think they had like corn. From
all
what
I
I
got.
read,
We're
from
Were
what
they
from
veiny,
the kernel
veiny
I read.
corn? Veiny
Yeah.
corn?
No, bumpy.
veiny cobs, bumpy cobs, extra bumpy.
But I think the
Bumpy cob.
the cobs were in lewd positions, as though they were more
You know
of the
that-
what's the word when you make human something else?
what?
Animal.
Oh, anthropomorphic.
Yeah. I think it was like that.
Wow. Jay,
So it wasn't like they
slow
were just
down.
ramming corn
He
cobs
asked
into
a
people.
question. I
I
answered
know, but that I
You
gotta
want
take a
answers?
break now from that word. I don't know what that
it. I'm
means.
sorry. I'm sorry. I know words.
You know, it's really interesting that Pornhub did an April Fool's with Cornhub, and yet I feel confident, even though I don't go to Pornhub. I bet you $100 each of you right now that if you went to Pornhub and entered in the search window corn, you will find Cornhub again. I don't think it was an April Fool's. I think it was just.
I will take that bet. Hold on a second.
It's a kink.
Hang on. I think it was an introduction to a new feature they had.
Sweetheart, what is my password for Pornhub? Right. Hang on, John. I got this. 1 second.
Is that the password?
Hang on. VEINYCOCK.
No,
Did I
you
spell
got
Vane right?
It's got to be. It's got to be Vannycock $29.
Yeah.
Just make sure you spell it VAIN. And
Listener, for those who are still with us,
Easy.
this is where the bottom of the barrel resides, right here.
Oh yeah,
This
we
is-
made it. By the way, we finally got to the bottom.
Vannycock on Pornhub.
it takes
It's
the whole
it's
journey.
what it's all about. We could have led with that, but where would the fun be?
Not
So
here.
in 2015, Google added Pac-Man to Maps.
And
Google's done a lot of things.
Yeah, that's
Google's
great.
done a lot of the. They had the
Yeah,
mic drop button, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've
April
done,
Fool's is a perfect spot for them.
But I'm so
Yeah,
I'm so
online.
curious with all of these, particularly the brands, and I have to say, like, frequently one of my favorite things on social media is the user will be like, "I'm sorry to report, the brands are at it again." Like whenever brands try to be edgy or current or topical, be like, sometimes it hits, but majority of the time it's just like, oh, brand, did you have? Like, brand, why?
So-
Please stop being so brandy.
So Jay, you're in PR. Kyle, you used to be in advertising. Is this something that you would have to, that you Kyle, or Jay currently deal with? And Kyle, did you ever deal with when people like your client comes to you? Because we all know in the world that you're in, the client always has the best idea, and no matter what
Right.
you've been paid to do and come up with, and what brilliance you've been tapped to.
Let's not be ridiculous.
Bring forth. Do they go, you know what I think we really ought to do is I saw Burger King do something with the left-handed burger.
Yeah.
Now, I think what we
Yeah.
ought to do is we've got these monkey wrenches that we sell, and by golly, I think we need a left-handed monkey
And my
wrench.
cousin has a monkey.
Right.
Yeah. And how about those big blow-up things that wave in the wind? I think we need I see those everywhere. So do you all, have you ever run across in your professional world with people coming up with stupid stuff like that and like, this is going to be a brilliant idea. It's $1,000,001 $1 million idea. You got to do it kind of thing. And it's just, you're like, dude, that was stupid. And we're not going to do it.
Well, that's just a job. And so that's part of the job, especially in the advertising universe. It's their nickel. You can give them all your advice and training that you can, but
Well, and maybe that falls more into the PR umbrella, Jay.
It does.
Because-
To your question, very pointedly, I've never, for sure, I've been in a meeting where the client is like, you know what we should try? Let me know what you think about this. I think it'd be a great idea if we did X, Y, Z, so and so. But it's never before been an April Fool's idea. Like I've not yet had a client who was like,
that's because John
Well,
lost track.
it's March
I was
15th.
trying to,
we got 2 weeks to prepare.
what do we got for March 32nd? Come on.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Like,
What's up?
what are we going to do this year? Or I saw XYZ brand doing so-and-so. Like, would it be good for us if we tried an April Fool's prank? Like, I've never been a part of one of those.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Maybe thankfully. But plenty of other dumb ideas in different times of the year, for sure. That mostly, I can't remember one that we said yes to. Like, we've just done our best to shoot them all down.
Well, that's always good.
I remember,
when you say
then-
shoot them all down, you mean the idea, not the actual client. April Fools.
Yeah, right. In the era of
Gotcha.
Zoom, yeah. Unfortunately, it's up in the ideas with a 98% success rate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not
Well
bad.
done, Jay.
Hey.
Way to crush people's creativity.
You bet, buddy. That's what I'm here for.
Mm-hmm.
That's my job description.
One thing I enjoy with products or brands or companies out there doing a
Wow.
April Fool's wacky
Yeah.
is some
April
new
Fool's
product.
wacky, dude. I think we're back on Pornhub.
Just having
What's
fun.
going on?
Like an anime, excuse me, an advertising or a company doesn't have to do anything for April Fool's Day. That's pure fun, and it's just kind of get noticed time, right?
So are you saying
And-
like let the consumer think that there's an April Fool's joke when there really isn't, and let their imagination sort of run wild and
I don't know. It sounds like you're ready to be fooled over there. You're scared of big
big April
toothpaste
Fools.
coming after you. No, I'm just
big corn cob. You mean?
I'm just saying it. Coming from the creative side of advertising, I always appreciated when someone said, "Hey, let's do something for April Fools."
Sure,
Because
sure.
then you get to go off script and get a little fun and do something weird.
Do you have an example,
Like,
Kyle Jones?
Oh yeah,
That you
Coca-Cola
participated in?
Helium.
Oh no.
No, one thing that I got closest on, I guess, was working in anime. With maybe you guys are familiar with that. People were complaining that Greg Ayers, one of our favorite guys, we work with him a lot, and he's an anime royalty, really. We were getting some, Greg Ayers is in everything. Do you have any other actors in your stable? I'm guessing the accent. But anyway, so we gave, so I
think
went
that's
into
probably
the
spot
boss. And I went into the boss and said, hey, why not? We've got our slate. We're going to do our little trailer reel of everything coming out this summer. What if we take all those little clips and just have Greg Ayers do all the voices? It's Greg Ayers, starring Greg Ayers, as Greg Ayers in Greg Ayers. Guess what happened?
Did
said
you
no.
did you get permission to do the thing?
No, we did, of course not.
No, Kyle went back to advertising.
Greg Ayers was all in. I'll tell you that, because Greg's great.
What happened was, hey, have you ever told you about freed advertising? Anyway, what happened was, I left anime forever.
What happened was I moved to another city for a while, and once things cooled down, I came back.
You guys have heard of is it farmersonly.com?
Uh-oh.
It's a dating site that's all like just country
Is it
folk.
a corn?
Why would I wanna be
a corn
on
farmer dating site?
No, this one's real.
Cornhub.
This one's real. So the April Fool's joke was an ad for cowsonly.com. And it was like,
It sounds like the April Fool's
wonderful
joke could
commercial.
easily be farmersonly.com because that sounds like a huge prank to me.
but it's a beautiful, just commercial about finding the right steer, or not steer, because they don't have any balls, but finding your bull for your heifer.
Your heifer.
And it was cows only, but it was a joke. I mean,
It was. Thank you for clarifying. It was only.
yeah, it was April Fool's Day, you see. Bush beans.
John, you have some. John, you have some ties to the.
I got nothing.
You have some ties
Jay,
to
I'm
the
sorry.
Houston rodeo. Do you think people there would enjoy cowsonly.com? Good joke, great audience.
I
receptive
think,
audience.
I think you could probably find some people out there that would be interested in.
Listen,
Bovine.
I've been to some rodeo events. I've met some people. I could imagine maybe a few of them might possibly
bovinelove.com.
talk about your 4A club.
on this one.
talk about
So,
your 4-H.
she's not double A. She's
No, I don't think
4A.
you'd find anything like that.
Bush Beans made jelly beans at one point for April Fools.
Well,
In a can?
Well, the ad was like a. I don't know if they actually made them
because they could have easily. They could have.
I don't know.
They could have
might
packed a few Bush Beans cans with jelly beans and put the Best Buy date as April 1. Just a couple.
Petco released the doo-doo drone. So like this drone that would fly around like a pooper scooper, but it would fly
drone?
around and pick up your dog turds.
what did the doo-doo drone do?
They didn't do anything. It's bullshit. You
Pray
see,
tell.
this is all April Fool's Day.
Yeah, but I mean, what was the doo-doo drone supposed to do? Drop doo-doo on people? Or
No, pick up
it
doo-doo.
picks up your dog doo.
Oh, pick up the doo-doo. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Wow. Alexa did a pet Lexa.
Where you could ask your pet something?
Well, the pet could talk to Alexa. It
Oh, the
speaks
pet
their
could talk to it.
language.
Okay, I thought
It was
maybe you
hilarious.
asked-
I mean, come on, think about that. That's great.
I thought I could, for that day, I could talk to my dog.
And Alexa would sing, "If I could talk to the animals."
If I could say,
Really?
Alexa, say something to my dog, and Alexa would, "Roo, roo, roo, roo," and then the dog would, "Bow, bow, bow," and then Alexa would say, he said, could you please open the doggy door?
What movie? There was a movie.
I mean, that'd
where
be
that
cool.
happened.
Yeah. And who has a doggy door that the dog can't open by themselves? Isn't
Well-
that the point?
Okay. All right. Fine. I haven't learned how to use my doggy door. Thanks for pointing out that, Jay. I appreciate
It's fun
that.
to
Thank
watch
you.
John's.
I'm the
crawl all over
buffoon. This
floor.
is my job.
Yeah, you're king for a day is what you are.
Hello. Ayo.
Well, we did it. We finally hit bottom. I knew we would. Thanks, everybody. If you'd like to learn more about this finely distilled product, visit bottomofthebarrelpodcast.com, where you can find our previous episodes, merch, and even some Patreon options. If you want to tell us how smart we are or how stupid we are, or if you have a topic you want us to dive into, hit us up on our socials. Bottom of the Barrel Podcast is on Instagram, X, and YouTube. Special thanks go out to our audio production guru, Dave Lasco, our beloved manager and punching bag, Olivia Swayze, and Jonathan Benjamin. Take care.
Come on down, Uncle Stubby's Liquor Ammo and Tackle. We got everything you need for your next big fishing, drinking, shooting weekend. We got tall boys, jig baits, and all the points. We got beef jerky, jello shots, and live worms. We got propane, taco salad, and monkeys for the kids. If you can't find what you need at Uncle Stubby's Liquor Ammo and Tackle, then you ain't at Uncle Stubby's Liquor Ammo and Tackle. We're located off FM 1066, just past the Throckmorton Memorial Landfill. Uncle Stubby's, we're gonna save you money. Hablamos español.